this might be, if this legislation gets passed in Springfield, and it's not gonna happen overnight, but that might be a funding mechanism for such a program.
Wasn't that more of a loan than a grant?
There, it is a loan program, but I read through the legislation, and it is being sponsored by Elaine Neckritz, and it looked like if it gets through, that MWRD could outright provide funding to municipalities. Now,
It's, House Bill 4659 gives MWRD the authority to establish residential cost share programs.
thank you,
So
thank
it'd
you.
allow for partial funding for flood mitigation, for projects for homeowners and businesses, such as just leaks and overhead
Right.
sewers, backflow prevention valve.
Right.
It would be
bypass
I&I.
valve, yeah. Cisterns, rain gardens, porch pavers.
So if that legislation somehow gets through, and again, it's gonna take time because MWRD would have to go out for bonding, and I think they have to do it via referendum, that could be tied to this. So thank you, Jerry, this is huge. It kind of gets us moving on one of the steps recommended in the Rain Ready Plan.
And if I might add, if we implement something like this and we pass a resolution, this will also help the village and the community rating system. This will get us points in the community rating system.
Would you mind if I shared this with CMT? Because they'll say yay, nay, and I think they'll get excited when they see this.
And the other thing I have is, I will have, the building department, fuel use report, the health report, and the building department report available for reading next week.
Trustee LaRue.
Yes, ma'am. Let's see, included in the packet was the ordinance to dispose of the 1988 Pierce fire engine. So we'd like to have that on the agenda for next week's board meeting for approval so that we can start to move to sell it. We already talked about it. Okay, the idea. Probably gonna go to Ecuador again. Let's see. Also, I gave a copy this evening of the quote from Brand Communications to do the repairs to our outdoor warning sirens. Basically, it's the two boxes. We have two sirens. There's two boxes below them that contain the, I believe it's the batteries, UPS system, and I'm not sure what else exactly is in there, but it's pretty expensive stuff that's in these boxes. And I think it behooves us to spend the $1,994 to repair these boxes. One's going to be replaced. This is the one by the police department, and the other ones are just gonna resurface the other one. So, like I said, the stuff that's in there is pretty expensive, so it would make sense to. It's a lot more than that $1,994 if we don't take care of this now. So I would like that on the agenda for next week for approval. So, essential.
What's the life expectancy of the current thing? Is it like, will it immediately fail, or is it like 6 months, or they have no idea? Or?
The rusted, the one that's really, really rusted, they don't give it much chance at all. They don't, especially with the rainy season coming. They're afraid of the seals, they don't. At any point, you can see, would you like to look at pictures?
No, I looked at the pictures.
Okay.
So, once we agree to pass it and everything, then we'll repair it like immediately then? That would be the
That would be
expectation?
fairly close to say, yeah.
Okay.
Very accurate to say.
I just have a question. I'm not trying to be a jerk when I say this, but looking at the pictures, a lot of it did seem like surface rust. And if we're just changing batteries, getting rid of surface rust and repainting it, isn't that something we can't do in-house through Public Works?
Chief Hotmaker did speak to Superintendent Sperry, and because of the equipment that is in there, they don't want to take the responsibility for, they will have to remove everything safely, properly, correctly, put it aside, do all the repairs, and properly reinstall it into the box. So that's not something they want to take responsibility for.
Okay.
Anybody else? So that will be on the agenda next I believe the maintenance agreement was already signed with them for the annual maintenance. Okay, and I was in the police, fire department this past week, and Chief Operator showed me the confidentiality policy that he was given to sign and pass along, and I don't know, should there be some sort of signature page that would say what they're signing, and, okay, can we do that?
It's in a PDF. So I have to get it in Word so we can put it on. I tried to put
They
it.
thought,
You know what,
What?
Don, send it to Nicole, she'll get it in Word
Okay.
in 3
Okay.
seconds.
Okay.
because it, maybe this to decide to be paper, it means nothing.
All right.
And then the other one question was, it does say in here about it excludes collective bargaining units, because we presume that the collective bargaining units have a confidentiality policy. Fire department does not.
I think they should all sign this.
They should all sign it.
Reading it, I think that should be, I don't remember, I just brought it up to somebody recently. I don't, just when it was sent out, and I think that whole part should probably be taken out. I don't see why, just because they're on the union, doesn't mean they can't be expected
We
to
have to
sign it.
negotiate it.
You still have
They
management.
will have to be talked to, I mean,
See, I thought that would fall under management rights. I mean, it's not, we're not changing anything that's already pretty much in place. We're just, you know, and if they don't want, as a union, if they don't want to sign it, it still could be documented that they were given it, you know, so.
well, the signature line said, they're not signing, saying they agree with it, they're signing that they read,
Exactly.
they received it
Right,
read.
and that's what it said, and if it came down to a point of they didn't want to even sign it because it felt it was against their contract, so what? You know, you read it, you were given it, and, you know, it's just like our policy manual, like, first day they start, we give them a thick book, and we don't babysit them to read it, we just tell them you're expected to read this and know it, follow it, and later down the road, if they violate something, you know, always try that, well, I didn't know, you're given a policy manual, and
Right.
you're expected to know, it's part of your job criteria.
So,
So that would be my suggestion. I don't remember who I talked to just recently about it, but I thought we should just probably take that whole section out. That's just a thought for, you know, for thought.
Let me talk to her.
You see, and you just have them all sign it.
Yeah, there's nothing in there that I think,
I don't, yeah, I went through it, and that's why I thought, you know, they should all, I mean, we have something identical in the policy manual, but to have them all sign it and put it in a personnel file is, I think, a good idea.
Have we gotten any other feedback from any other department?
you just did,
I mean, just the one?
police and fire,
Oh, and fire did too?
chief hotline.
That's where it came from.
Never mind.
Mr. Social Media,
No, that's your
how about real life?
Yeah, matter of fact, I tried to work with it too, because it's in PDF and tried to create it.
I didn't think it's cool.
Oh, I've done it many times.
I've done it
3
for-
seconds, it's done.
I'm
I
joking.
got away from, I did it, worked on it for just a few minutes, and I
You got this,
didn't get to get back to
you're
it.
all over it.
I don't think she has it yet, but I believe she will.
Nicole,
Yeah,
you're all over it.
yes,
You're-
I got it.
And the last thing is, the ACON is this Sunday, and I can't thank all of you enough. So many people donated, mayor, chief, I don't know, everyone. It was, I think we have, and there was a pile on my desk tonight when I came in, which Gene now has. So I'm sure we're close to 6,000 eggs.
Do you have enough eggs?
I asked,
We
they
were
said
already,
yes.
we were already.
I asked more.
Pardon?
Frankie told me that we were already over 5,400 eggs, so with that stack there, we got plenty of eggs, I think we have plenty of candy. So hopefully the weather holds and it'll be a fun day Sunday. Quick, but it'll be fun. So, and that's all I have.
Okay. Trustee Gilliland.
Okay, a bunch of potpourri today. HR consultant, I'm working on that as hard as I should be, so I'll get on that with the contract. But I do believe that should be a budgeted item. I don't think it should just be something, okay, we do it piece by piece. We have to have some idea of how much we're going to spend for the next fiscal year in the budget, so we'll have to work with that. Speaking of budget, we're going to hopefully pass the budget next meeting, Mayor. So if there's any changes or anything from Maggie, I'll talk to her tomorrow and get it to the board so they're aware of it, if there's any updates or corrections. And signing, I'm putting my signature on a bill today for South Suburban mayors for the GIS consortium, $78.85 per year. Of course, we passed it for last year, so we're doing $15,000. My only comment is we haven't really used it.
We have,
Well,
we have,
okay.
no, Don, Joe Sperry wanted to become more familiar with it.
Okay.
We have Josh Kuntz doing all of the mapping on the GIS for,
From South Suburban, Mayor?
he comes to all of our Natalie Creek steering committees. He's
Okay.
doing all of the mapping.
Okay.
It's there, and I've had
Building
conversations.
department is using it too.
The
The
building
building
department.
department is using it?
Yes, glad you have.
I just want to make sure we're not paying $78.85.
And I believe Joe was going to,
Joe, Kristen, and I think maybe Ty went to a class or had a class,
Okay.
like 2 weeks ago.
they're doing all of the mapping for the enterprise zone too.
It's definitely being used.
Okay, it's definitely being used.
And again, we can use it as, it's there,
Unlimited.
it's unlimited, it's just, I just think that we need to make sure that our department heads know how to use it. Probably the new building superintendent would.
He knows how it
Okay, well then he just has to get a login, because there's just layers and layers and layers of information in GIS.
Good. For as far as administration, we sent a couple of proposals for office equipment. The administration, basically at the front window, they have one point of sale, one. So if it gets busy, then things back up. Not only that, but we have multiple people using the same cash drawer. So we have two things. One is we don't have very good customer service during busy times. Number two is that when we're counting the things at the end of the day, things tend to get screwed up because there's so many different hands in one drawer that it takes a long time to balance the drawer. Maggie, Treasurer Britton has recommended that we have two stations. Basically for two reasons: better customer service for busy times, also to promote accountability as far as there would only be one person per cash drawer. So in other words, that person will be responsible for their own cash drawer if they can't balance. If they balance quickly, we know they're doing, we know what's going on. If they don't balance quickly, we might be able to track where some errors are, where some mistakes are. Maybe one person is doing a great job, maybe one person needs coaching. Right now, we have a mess trying to do this. As regularly, they spend extra time doing this. At 3:30, sometimes it goes until past closing to try to balance the drawer. There's a lot of overtime that's been expended on this. So basically, Ms. Britton's recommendation is let's do two cash drawers for accountability, for good customer service. She's recommending that we have buy two computers. Actually, the one computer right now is still running XP card. So
I thought they were updated.
something like that. So we'll have faster computers. We'll have monitors, two separate cash drawers, another three cash drawers. I'm sorry, 3 tray inserts and 2 scanners. We also may need. We have two credit card terminals, one for regular transactions, one for water. We may need 4 new credit card terminals that we're working to try to find out if that's true, because of the new chip technology that is theoretically mandated. We may have to buy 4 terminals at $350 each. But we're working to see if that's mandated. We're trying to hold off as much as we can. So that, I think it's a good plan. Has anybody got any questions about that?
Why 4 chip readers?
2 for each. She wants separate ones for each.
What, it's physically tied, the hardware device is physically tied to an account or something?
Yeah, they're pre-programmed to a certain account. and we have a lower processing rate fee on utilities like water bills than we do on other things. It's actually in our agreements with the payment processors. We get a more favorable rate for utilities.
Okay.
I don't see that in the quote, is that?
It is not.
Oh,
It's not. It's not on that quote, so I'll find out, I'll try and get the information tomorrow, because there's some disagreement, like, for example, my people told me I had to get the chip reader, I got the chip reader, so I'm gonna call my people up and say, hey, because Nicole called up Integrity, they said no, but everything I know about it is July was the deadline, and the big problem there is, if we have a fraudulent card for some odd and unexplainable reason, and it comes back, we have to, right now, under the present system, the credit card company eats that. Under the new system, if we don't get the updated technology, we eat it. So, I don't know if that would ever happen, because we should hopefully know who we're dealing with, but maybe on, some things we don't. There's also, if you ever look under that, there's a currency counter. Maggie had to count the drawer one day, and she put that in right away. We count gobs of currency, and for $257, again, it's a cost savings. We have a lot of overtime doing the drawer, and this is gonna save us a lot of money. The quicker we can do the drawer, we don't have overtime content. And we do at present, because either there's balancing problems, or you have to count so much money, or both. There's a lot of issues, so this should streamline a lot of things and save a lot of labor time. What wasn't on the proposals that were sent to you on the agenda was this, and that was for a brand new folder inserter. The reason for the folder inserter is the police department is dead. They come up and use the administrations, which is also almost ready to die. So, this is the folder inserter they recommend buying. They have recommended option 2 on an outright purchase instead of leasing. Leasing is always expensive, and they feel they could save $1,500 by an outright purchase of $8,600. That would include a service agreement for
Free for the
3
first
years.
year?
Well, the first year's free, and I believe it would be for 3 years, but I will double check. So is there any questions on that?
This is not the heat seal machine for utility bills, right? This is different.
Okay, that will do the utility bills, but here's the thought for folks. Those heat and seal dudes cost 11 cents each They're 11 cents each. The theory here is that they wanted to change to a regular bill that's stuffed in an envelope. This will do it. And it has the capability also of putting notices in there, or newsletters also, maybe a one-page newsletter. As long as you don't exceed 1 ounce in your envelope, it's the same rate. So their pretty strong feeling is, first of all, they don't even know if the heat and seal people are still in business. They might be out of business. But second of all, they think it's much more, it's just a better thing to forget about those heat and seal guys and use a regular form that they're going to look at maybe having a perforated form so that people can rip off the stuff and send it back in, in an envelope. But
So the blank heat and seal one that we use for water bill is 11 cents each.
yes, 11 cents each.
The form is?
Pardon?
Is it form?
Yes. So basically, they just want to send them get some pre-printed forms and the pre-printed envelopes. And I think
Which costs what, half a cent?
yeah, probably, if we get them in bulk. And also, I think that seems to solve our newsletter problem. Basically, Nicole was doing the electronic newsletter. Basically, you're doing pretty much came out to about a one-page newsletter. I would suspect that we could do the same thing for the monthly. Well, it would be quarterly then, wouldn't it? But basically, that seems to have solved our problem. If there's any special notices, maybe we could even send those out. I don't know if we can send out our water treatment notice or whatever. I'm not sure, but I mean, maybe we can do that, but that's what the office is looking for at this time. And the police department won't buy an inserter, this apparently is a heavy-duty inserter that they can also use for their parking.
Is it my understanding that both administration and police departments have an average about 2,500 to 3,000 pieces of mailing a month?
At least.
Yeah, it would sound reasonable. Make parking tickets, maybe parking tickets or,
Well, that was what I was gonna ask.
Oh, yeah, go on.
We have several, and there's a lot, I don't know how many, right now they made, now that's what my question is, you talking about this folding and stuffing them into an envelope and sealing?
yes.
Yeah, because that's, there's nothing to try to
This
work
is
crazy.
supposed to do.
Two girls take a whole day to
Yes.
stuff
Yes,
twice a month
yes,
for our parking ticket
yes.
stuff. I mean, I know we
Looks like this
get the
goes
money
on.
back.
Yeah, this really does everything you want. It has total capabilities, and if it, you know, I know what you go through with the parking tickets.
Yeah.
If they can save you that
They go
time,
once, twice a month minimum.
but you're probably doing more than 3,000.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's, like I said, it takes them a good day to 2 days to drive me crazy knowing that I'm paying the money, that we're paying money to someone to sit there and stuff envelopes to the point where I've tried to get school, you know, where they had kids to do services and stuff, and use them. It's just, yeah, I think this is like a great idea.
I'm not the accountant on the board, but I calculated the paper itself in 5 years.
Well, part of this issue too is, you know,
Faster because of Michelle and
yeah,
Do you have it?
Well,
they're stuffing for 2 days, 4 days a month.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's gonna be
that's
quicker.
that's actually more, yeah. And I think, you know, the elephant in the room still is monthly billing. So, you know, if we can find some savings to help justify monthly billing, that might be,
We're burning through one of them.
that might be something.
6 months, we're buying new machines default probably. We bought 2 last year.
You bought?
We bought 2 machines last year, just.
Two
default.
machines?
There's, you know, they're the cheap, small
Oh,
ones.
yeah,
We're
okay.
trying to save
This isn't
cost,
a cheap small one.
but they're still, right, but I mean, they're still at a couple $100, you know, $200 to $300 for a small little thing that, you know. just-
Plus we've had good service from Impact, because those are the same people who have our printers. We've had excellent service, so we've got every confidence in the world, this is the way to go with this. And I think if this works out like you're talking about, oh my gosh, this is a big savings, and maybe we can apply that to the water bills and maybe figure out if it's cost effective, maybe we can reallocate some things. I got this thing in the mail, and I could actually read it this time, so it's pretty good. But I do have some comments or questions quickly, because I just found out some things in the newsletter that I didn't know, actually. Could you supply you reference that you discovered a letter from the village auditor to the Board of Trustees in Guilford, June 22nd, 2012.
Yes,
Could you give us a copy of that?
I sure can.
I think I know what it said, but I'd like to see what it said.
I thought I had actually given you guys a copy of it when Mike actually found it, because I didn't find it, Mike found it when he was going through some old papers.
I don't know.
I thought you did. I can get it for you, I've got
Yeah,
it.
just because, you know, the other comment I have is, 2 comments. One is that I understand that, you know, as a board, we're concerned about getting this matter resolved as quickly and as legally as we possibly can. So I understand why you self-reported the audit to the SEC, because that's something we talked about from day one. The first time we talked about this at the meeting, we talked about we had to self-report it. But I just sort of think it would have been nicer if you had talked to the board about it, and I think as a board, I would have liked to have voted on a resolution that the board supports this we want to self-report this to the SEC. I think this has, you know, just because we want to make sure, just as a board, the board I think is 100% behind this effort, and I think it would have been nice if we had the opportunity to express that.
Well, and like I said, I tried to say that you guys have been supportive of this.
Right.
I mean, you guys have worked with me and tried to help me get the answers. It wasn't easy. I mean, it's been a long, tedious process. over and over and over again. So, yeah, like I said, we've known since the first time we met, you know, that we were going to, that was the resolve of the board members at that time, and I didn't think you had changed your mind.
No,
And so,
it was just for the.
Crow Horwath
Right.
had suggested that we get this to the
Right.
SEC as soon as possible.
Right.
Just because of the nature of it.
Right.
So guys, could you give the board a copy of that letter as well?
Sure.
Okay, that would be helpful.
The last thing you mentioned, that thing that I don't know if we should mention a lot of, but you mentioned water tower, and it's just, the first time where everybody was very disappointed that we couldn't get the water tower, and I just, in my heart, I say, you know, everything's gonna be going fine, but when we, you know what, I know we're gonna open the bids, but I don't really wanna, I don't think we should talk about it too much and cry wolf until we actually have that money in that account to pay for that water tower, and then everything will be fine. I mean, once was terrible enough, but this time when we start talking about it, if something blows up in our face somehow, then it's gonna really be terrible. So, I mean, when, like you always talk about when we cut the ribbon, everything's good, you know, and I mean, this is sort of like when we cut the ribbon, so that's what coming.
Okay.
Hey, just so the board knows, and I found this the other day, that there's documentation that I found that stated that the village has been trying to get a water tower on the west side of Cicero since 1956.
I had that, I don't know, I have to do with that newsletter from 1956.
Wow.
Carl found it, take it.
Well, if that's due.
Carol found it where?
It's time.
Facebook.
Oh. Social media.
It was Pinterest, but you know.
Hootsuite.
That's all I got.
Thank you. Trustee Mansfield.
Yes, Mayor, I have several things. Chief Kaufman received notice from our CSO, Kaufman, that he has been hired as a full-time police officer by the Wheaton Police Department. So that's good for our CSO, but bad for us. So Chief Kaufman will be asking the board's permission to seek a new candidate as a CSO. So I'd like to put that on the agenda for next week, if the board is okay with that.
While we're on the subject, the original deal, when we first started back with the CSOs, was that they started out at $12 an hour, and after probation, they went to 14. That's correct, right?
I think it was like after 90 days they
Well,
went.
probation period was 90 days.
It was, yeah, like, we pretty much a probation period, which is probably 90 days anyway.
Yeah, I think, and then they received the increase.
Okay. So,
Yeah, so we would, yeah, same pay, right, correct? So we can go with that next week.
Okay.
But you know, Chief, before the individual is hired, it has to be, the hire actually has to be approved by the board.
That's why we're bringing it up tonight. He knew.
Like that look.
The time-operated door lock and surveillance system that the board approved last week was installed at the metro station yesterday. Superintendent Sperry was there today and met with the ticket agents. They have tentatively set the opening and closing hours at 5 a.m. and 7 p.m. and obviously they will adjust that as needed. Also starting today, Chief Kaufman will have an officer physically go in and make sure there's no one hanging out in the station during the close hours, so sometime between 7 p.m. And 4 a.m. when the first person gets there. The coffee guy gets there somewhere around 4 o'clock, and the ticketing agent is usually there around 5 o'clock. So the police will patrol the building and make sure there is no one in there in the morning before they get there.
Just a quick comment, I'm sorry, I just interrupted. What I did also, I didn't get to give you all the information, we're still waiting to get the IP address, everything's installed. We're still working on with the internet over there, so that should be taken care of very soon. But what we also did is I made 20 copies of keys, on every squad keychain, so they also have the key to, every officer has a key to
Physical
access,
keys.
to go in there as well. So it should hopefully.
Who's supplying you with the IP address?
The company who did the install usually does the work with it, this one. Goes to search, however, I don't know, it's
So it'll be
not my ballpark.
their server and stuff like that will be all registered on?
Or
Is
That's
it
what we're
connected
trying to
to
find out, we've been trying to find out, going through the search through there, is if they even have internet capability right now. But calling today, didn't get a call back with Comcast to find out what it will cost us to actually put the internet in there. And basically, it was trying to get a break, some type of break for, the government access account.
So it would be a regular
We wanted to
business account?
we wanted to just move forward and get going, get everything in. And we knew it was gonna take a little bit of time working with the IP address net, which isn't a problem, but everything's installed, working, everything's good. It's just that right now, it's still operating the old way, where we have to go and actually view it. We can't view it from the card right now. That's where our intentions were and are. We're still, that's a process that we're still working on. Shouldn't take too long, I would think.
Okay, because like the last time you were looking for an IP address, it took quite a long time for you to get that IP address through our IT provider.
Right, and we did get a few, I believe.
A few of them?
Yes, so, and that was actually the company who did the install of cameras and everything here, who was working with our IT guy, Calvin. So they should have knowledge about that as well. But I didn't talk to him yet, from the install company. Probably will tomorrow. I put a call in late today, he called back now, it's late phone day, so.
So will it show up then on your existing service that you have?
No, it will show up on a separate, we'll have to do it through a separate IP address.
Separate IP address, separate. So then the phone that you use to look at the current, or the device you use currently to look at the cameras from around here will be the same device you then can use to look at the train station?
No, the system here is totally different from over there, because it'd be two different IP addresses, so it'd have to be, it could be put in any computer, and we can work it out so it's there, but it'd have to go through a separate, router or whatever.
Okay.
Because it's two different IP addresses. Can't make them the same, because that's a whole separate wiring and.
I was just wondering if one squad car could look at the multiple locations now with the cameras.
Well, yes and no. It's kind of, you have to put in one IP address to see one thing and put in another to see another. So.
Okay, so they can look at it, it's
Yes,
just.
yeah,
entering it.
that's the next
Okay.
thing, objective is to get that so they can pull it up in their car.
Sorry.
What's an IP address, Carl?
It's on your house address for computer.
I was looking at this conversation.
So anyway, sorry.
That's a trustee Moscow business.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I just wanted to give you a little update.
Do we need to supply a key for metric to the fire department?
I believe there already one
We
already
haven't
has been
changed the
sent.
locks, so if they had it, it's still the same key.
I'm pretty sure Joe, in the list that he gave me, had the fire department, but I will double check.
Yeah, I would do
There's a Knox box there as well, too. But I will double check that. Trustee LaRue mentioned an ordinance in the package of materials the mayor sent out to authorize the disposal of a vehicle for the fire department. There's also one for the police department. It's a seized vehicle, a 2003 Jaguar. I doubt that one's leaving the country like the fire engine. But that is also in the package for next week. I mentioned last week or the week before that Attorney Gleason had finished putting together the ordinance for overweight truck regulations in the village, and Lieutenant Amrine has been reviewing that. He sent that back to me this afternoon with a handful of updates. They clearly spent a lot of time comparing to some other municipalities' ordinances and changed some terms and some things that had changed. So I will be sending that back to Attorney Gleason tomorrow. And hopefully I will have that for the board to look at before, I'm not gonna ask them to put on the agenda yet for next week, because I don't know how long how involved the changes will be, but, that will be coming to an agenda soon. And that will be good for, it's been so long, as a refresher for everyone. There was an opportunity to, recapture some of the fines that are going to Chief currently no longer. The state requires, overweight truck permits, and there's a database system that they basically have to plan routes, and there's sections of routes that they don't get permits for. We can automatically can build them, it's not necessarily a ticket, you can basically set it up in advance to collect permits. And, we've had a number of situations where we've had those vehicles come through the village and we have not been able to collect those fees because we didn't have this ordinance in place, so.
Plus with Ricky Rockets coming in, and they're in that truck, it's big because it tears the roads up more than people realize. That's huge.
So hopefully, again, hopefully in the next 2 weeks I will have that to do. I will be meeting with, tomorrow afternoon, I'll be meeting Mr. Holstead and Mrs. Gleason at the Park District to discuss some issues with the Rating Lodge, and I will come back with a report for the board. Mrs. Gleason and Mr. Holstead sent a good summary of some of the significant repairs they had to make at the lodge over the last several years. And just as a warning, I think I sent an email to all of you, but there's likely another large repair looming, and that's the air conditioning system, which is not in good shape. And so we'll talk about that tomorrow. I'll come back with some information, but I know the Park District already got an estimate on that, and the superintendent's ferry also did as well. So I'll share some details with that once I have it. Today, I had an email exchange with Nicole around the RFP for audit services. She's offered to help do some of her magic with the cutting and pasting for PDFs and Word documents, etc. The mayor had given me several months ago a couple examples of RFPs, which were good, and I found a few others too, so I kind of took some bits and pieces, and Nicole put it in the same format that she put the HR services RFP. Some more to come on that as soon as you know.
I would like to give that a small time window though to reply to the RFP, just so we can
Move forward, yeah. I suspect we'll have that back right away, and as soon as there's a draft, I'll share it with everybody so we can move forward on that. And lastly, I received notice from Attorney Gleason yesterday that he expects to have draft versions of the vacation ordinances for the properties along Laverne Avenue and Billy Casper finished by the end of Monday, and he will forward those to the board for their review. He's also prepared the publications for public hearings that are required, and he would like to bring this matter to a close at the first meeting in April. So look out for those documents, and we can talk about them next week. He'll be here to answer any questions. That is all I have.
Okay, thank you. Under my business, the only thing I have is the weekly update from the auditor. I talked with him on Monday, and they are still waiting for, their attorneys were supposed to be giving them their letter of opinion by sometime midweek, so as soon as they get that, I'm hoping we're gonna move on getting the 13-14 audit completed and in our hands. So I stay on, I'm at least speaking with them every week, so yeah, I don't know what to do. They're driving me crazy. And that's all I have this evening. Clerk?
Yeah, a couple of things that we talked already about the zoning board meeting that met Monday on the Merlin, old Merlin property, with the recommendation from the zoning board for approval, which will be on the agenda for next week. Also, there's a couple of other things that are, the property is 147th and Kedzie. We had a site plan meeting this week. Deputy Chief Rita was going to go out and do the inspection there with regards to any building and fire issues with the property as to what would need to be done there.
Which building?
It's the northwest corner of 147 and Kedzie. He's going to take over that as well as the Tasty Foods. Yeah.
For what?
Another auto lot. He hasn't purchased the property yet. He wants to know what is going to be involved if he does purchase the property as far as the cost goes. The Tasty Freeze, he would plan on remodeling that into an office for the auto dealer. And he's also looking for a variance for doing minor repairs in the garage work.
So do we want to require that one to have a phase one as well?
Well, the bank, maybe it's not bank. I was thinking if he had to go to the bank would have.
They're gonna require it.
Yeah, but maybe it's cash. Gotta find out more. We gotta get, somehow we gotta get, the test. Gotta get phase one right on top.
So we can make that as a,
Yeah, why can't
we
we
can make
put
it a
in
condition.
for
Well,
What?
what is that zone? Is that B1?
Yes.
If that's
That's a
B1,
B1,
so that's special use.
yes.
So as a condition of the special use, they would have to agree to a phase one.
Pretty much same we did with, cars on 47.
Mm-hmm.
We can give them time to do it.
Right, would just be built into the ordinance.
Right.
We gave 140, cars 147 time.
And they did it.
Wait, we knew what it was. We gave him time to take the tanks
Oh.
out.
Right, that's
Two
right.
different animals. We don't want the test, we want the tank. If there's tanks there, which there could
Well,
be.
that could still be in the
Right, first
special
we need to find
use.
out if the tanks are still there.
Well, we
don't
gotta
have
do
the
phase
information.
one
Right.
first. But we're running out of time here to use US EPA money. The grant expires in
That may be an
September.
incentive for the current owner to know that we can get the phase one done beforehand.
We may not have time to do the phase two though, because depending on how quickly they can move on this. I can do my best, but I have,
Phase one tells, okay, so I'm lost. Phase one tells you,
They do all the research.
they
back
do,
on
who the
All the
owners
standards
So is it
are.
likely there's tanks there? Is it
Yeah.
likely there's?
They check with the state fire marshal to see if there's any tanks registered. They kind of do that.
okay.
Phase two, they actually go in and do the testing.
But it would be to the owner's advantage. to take
Absolutely.
advantage of this. So that's what we
Absolutely.
need to reiterate to him or her, the fact that, you know, this is gonna have to be done sooner or later. Why not
Unless
take
you sell, if you
advantage?
sell it for cash, he doesn't, still benefit them. The new owner.
Right.
All I'm saying is I need to know because there are steps. The first thing, we have to submit a property eligibility determination to see, we have to get approval to proceed, contact the owner. So there's a number of steps. This takes time.
We need to get that done.
All right, well then I need the information.
And I'll help you. I'll get the information as far as.
We have a,
Chester.
good luck with him.
But
Well-
that's not possible. How can he not want it and try to sell the property? It doesn't make any sense.
Well,
He thinks it devalues the property. If you find out there's
There's issues, right.
environmental issues, it devalues the property.
I can't tell you how many times I talked to him when we first received the grant. And he was always interested and he never got back to me.
Now it's got fired.
Yeah, it might be different if there's a buyer.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
a condition of special use.
Yeah. And there's one other, which is a MAC home remodeling that's on Costner or Gilder? Costner. That has their architect has found that the home was built on a shorter easement from the property next door, so it's only 2.5 feet, and it should be 5 feet. They want to raise the roof and put basically a second story on it for structural reasons, and so that's going to go through site plan and also needs a zoning variance to allow that to still continue. We have architectural plans from MAC, is it, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're actually doing 4 houses in town now.
I mentioned this to Trustee Gillis a few weeks ago, but that company has done some really nice work on the model. They have a whole in-house staff, they have a legal team of architects, other contractors, and I've seen a couple of them, very, very nice.
Yeah, the address that Mike is referring to is 14817 Costner. It's on the north side of the house. So it's just a 2.5 foot variance.
Yeah. So. And that's all I have.
Can we get them to look at the chamber?
talk about it at that level.
Yeah, they're doing some nice work.
I don't, why don't we come over here?
Okay, at 9:20 PM, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?